Hey, mahal everyone. Welcome back again to the Broadway Saiyan YouTube channel. I am your host, 40, and we are back with another video on the global version of Dissidia Final Fantasy Opera Omnia. In today's video, we have Noctis, good or not good. So it's going to be a further, deeper dive into the character Noctis, as we know he is the next character that we're going to be seeing in the global version of Opera Omnia. Before I move forward with this video, I do want to give a huge shout out to Red, aka Dekrith. He is part of the Dissidia Opera Omnia wiki and tier list crew. He is an extremely knowledgeable player that helped me out with the information for this video, so I want to give a huge shout out and thanks to him. I'm going to be leaving a link in the video description as well as the pinned comments to his website. Guys, be sure to check it out. There's a lot of comprehensive guides on different party setups. He goes into a thorough explanation as well as providing video analysis and video showcases of those particular teams, as well as the tier list and things like that. So be sure to check it out. Great player, really amazing guy. Thank you again, Dekrith, for all your help and all that you do for the Dissidia Opera Omnia community. All right, guys, so let's go ahead and move forward. Noctis, good or not good? So once Noctis comes out in Global, what does he offer us? So he is a Brave Shaver with a unique and versatile playstyle. He has AoE damage. He gives us great self buffs from his abilities. Now, you got to take into account that you do need his weapon passives to take advantage of those self buffs. He also has launching, or we also call it chase. He has turn manipulation with his plus version of his abilities. He has brave plus HP attack options, again, provided you need those weapon passives. And he has a stacking unique buff that further improves his abilities and brave damage output. He is being released to us early, so this means that he's going to have more time to shine compared to his JP release. So we are getting this character earlier compared to when JP got him. And he's a character with style, and he's going to be a husbando to many Final Fantasy 15 or even Final Fantasy fans in general. So definitely a very stylish and fun character. So we're going to compare Noctis's chase, the way he initiates the chase, versus our other popular characters currently in Global that initiate the chase. And the reason why I chose this comparison is because when you look at Noctis's kit, it's extremely unique. There's really nobody right now that does what he does, because he is kind of like a jack of all trades when it comes to what he does. So the reason why I chose this is because of the closest thing that we can compare him to as far as to other characters. So Noctis's shooting star, when it comes to chasing, has 4 guaranteed chases. Now, the reason why I say 4, even though he has a max usage of 8, is because in order to activate Shooting Star Plus, you first need to use Shooting Star on an enemy, and you have to either break the enemy with the ability, or you have to be using Shooting Star on an enemy that's already broken to activate Shooting Star Plus, which is why I say we get 4 guaranteed chases. And also, because that second hit is AoE, he actually deals that guaranteed chase HP damage of 50 to all enemies. So you're gonna automatically launch 1, and then afterwards, next turn, that other enemy on the field, or if there's multiple enemies, they're gonna have that chase icon already blinking, so you can launch that one the next turn. So a faster way to build up the summoning bar. So this is why I say he can give us actually more depending on if there's multiple enemies. It gets a 180% brave damage output. It also grants Noctis a 30% max brave up for 5 turns. It has AoE damage, like we said, and it has that turn manipulation where it places Noctis's turn right before the enemy that he actually hit with it. So it's really, really cool before they act. So Cloud's finishing touch, comparing him to Cloud. Cloud gives us 3 guaranteed chases, a 220% brave damage output, and he also gives himself 3 self buffs, 25% max brave up, 20% physical attack up, and crit rate up for 5 turns. So damage output wise, Cloud definitely takes this. Also self buff wise, I say Cloud takes this too, just because he gives himself 3 for 5 turns, whereas Noctis only gives himself 1. However, Noctis gives us more chases, okay, where he gives us 4, and not counting the other ones he could do if there's multiple enemies. And he also gives us AoE damage, so that means we take advantage of a break bonus if we happen to break with Shooting Star Plus. And he has that turn manipulation, which could potentially save your party from danger, provided that you actually plan out ahead how you're going to be taking advantage of that turn manipulation with Shooting Star Plus. So as far as versatility wise and utility wise, I'm going to give it to Shooting Star Plus versus Cloud's finishing touch when it comes to taking advantage of the chase mechanic. Now moving forward, we're going to take a look at Noctis versus Dark Knight Cecil, a recent level 60 awakened character who also takes advantage of the chase mechanic. So we know what Shooting Star Plus does, but let's take a look at Cecil's Valiant Blow. 4 guaranteed chases, 250% Brave damage output, 30% attack up to himself for 3 turns. He deals HP attack right after, so it's a Brave plus HP ability. It does, however, drain 40% of Cecil's HP for every use, and it has the Dark element. So damage-wise, Cecil beats out Shooting Star Plus. Especially, I like it better because of that HP attack. However, it's more of a liability. It's a very aggressive playstyle because of that 40% HP drain. So you want to make sure that you're monitoring Cecil's HP, and having that Dark element can sometimes hinder it if you're fighting a boss that actually resists the Dark element. So kind of want to keep that in mind. And as far as versatility and utility wise, I still give it to Noctis because he has a potential to score more guaranteed chases if there's multiple enemies, AoE damage, and that turn manipulation. So that's the comparison right there between Noctis and Dark Knight Cecil. Now comparing Noctis to Lael. Now I understand Lael is not level 60 yet, but he is a character that takes advantage of the chase mechanics, so we're going to go ahead and compare Lael to Noctis. So Lael's energy gain. Lael's energy gain is a bit different. So it has 6 potential guaranteed chases. And the reason why I say potential is because with his weapon passives, because we recently just got his 35 CP weapon, his energy gain deals an 18 chase HP value damage. So most enemies or bosses, for example, have a chase HP value of 40. So he deals 18 of that value to the 40. Now, with his Force debuff from his first ability, he actually cuts their chase HP value in half. So it's almost guaranteed even with energy gain, but it still requires a little bit more of setup. And for those of you that don't quite understand how the launch mechanic or the chase mechanic works, there is a hidden value to it. And I'm going to be leaving a link to an older video that I made a while back regarding this mechanic, so you guys have an idea of what I'm talking about here. That's also going to be in the video description as well as the pinned comments. Lael's energy gain has a 160% Brave damage output. It also grants him a 30% magic attack up for 6 turns, and it also has a Brave battery mechanic that grants Brave to other party members based on 30% of own max Brave. So I like Lael's for its support because we get that Brave battery. It also increases the amount of magic attack damage that he deals because he is a magic damage dealer. However, because his is not guaranteed right now, whereas Noctis's is, Noctis, I feel like right now, currently in Global, still takes the cake with this one, especially because he deals AoE damage, and he has that turn manipulation, and the potential to score more launches because he deals AoE damage when you're fighting against multiple enemies. So, yeah. That's the comparison there between Noctis and Lael, and also take into account that Lael is only still at level 50, but this is the comparison there between these two characters' chase mechanic. All right, so Noctis pros and cons. So his pros are, again, early release, more time to shine, longer longevity. Hopefully Square doesn't throw another curveball at us Global players, because that could change this. But right now, he's going to have longer longevity. He also has good damage output with versatile options. He's a top tier range DPS. He has great self buffs to further improve his damage. So he has max Brave up from his first ability. He has attack up from his second ability. And then with his EX, he has that unique buff that increases his max Brave and adds that additional Brave hit with his abilities. And also his playstyle is not boring. He's not a one-trick pony. So I apologize if this offends some of you, but Terra is a very popular character right now. But Terra doesn't really require too much setup. It's pretty much, oh, I'm gonna click Meteor, and then I'm gonna click Meltdown, I mean, so I get that max Brave up, and then click Meteor, and then you just kind of cycle through her abilities. Whereas Noctis, he's pretty versatile, and his playstyle, because his kit is so unique, it's not boring. So he's not a one-trick pony. Now, what are his cons? He is extremely reliant on needing all of his weapons, including his EX. He is a whale character unless RNG is on your side when you pull for his weapons. So without all of his weapons, sadly, he is subpar. Even if you're missing just one passive, it's really, really important to have all of his passives, especially his EX, because his unique buff is has that stacking mechanic. So because that having his EX influences that the most, you want that EX equipped on Noctis. He is not beginner friendly, so he's a character that takes a very good understanding of some of the more advanced mechanics of the game, such as the chase mechanic, to really understand how powerful he really is. So he's not just a character that, oh, I'm gonna pull for all his weapons and just slap him on my team and just wreck face. He does take a little bit of an understanding, especially as content gets harder and as we progress further into the game. And he does lack debuffs on his abilities to further increase his effectiveness. This one is more of a minor con because not every damage dealing character needs to have a debuff, but he does lack it, so I do see that as a con. So that's going to be Noctis's pros and cons. Now, some tips and final thoughts. So first, we're going to take a look at his Royal Arms unique buff and how the stacks work. So I actually thought in the beginning that each stack grants another additional brave attack for his abilities, but however, I was wrong on that, and each stack will just improve the amount of damage that extra additional brave attack deals for his abilities. So at one stack, he's going to give himself a 10% max brave up, and the additional brave attack deals 30%. Two stacks, 15% max brave up, and that additional brave attack deals 60%. Three stacks, he gets a 20% max brave up, additional brave attack dealing 80%, 4 stacks, 25% max brave up, 100% brave damage attack, and then at the 5 stacks, which is the cap, he gives himself a 30% max brave up, plus the additional brave attack is going to be dealing a 120% brave damage output. Once you understand his mechanics and what he is fully capable of, he is a beast, and he works well with future characters that even power creep him. So I was actually guilty of saying that Noctis is a character that gets power crept really easily and you're not going to be using him, but that's completely not true. And again, thank you to Decorith. I talked to him about this, but if you actually really understand how he works, even with future characters that come out after him that are technically better than him, he can potentially last you even up until the very beginning of the Cosmos difficulties when they release him. That's how powerful this character can get really pushed to when he gets pushed to his limit. So as long as you understand how he works, he is a beast, and he does work well. So he's not going to get power crept as easily as you think he is. Some sample team comps upon his release when he first comes out: Noctis, Yuna, Lillicet. So Noctis is going to be your main damage dealer with launch, and then Yuna and Lillicet support with their Brave Battery abilities, buffs and debuffs. And this actually synergizes well with Noctis because when he initiates the chase, well, guess what? Your Brave is already full or almost full from those Brave batteries from Yuna and Lillicet. So you set it up correctly and you're going to be dealing a lot of damage with this team comp. Noctis at level 60 with EX or Squall level 60 with EX. This is a question that's been getting asked. I actually saw it asked a few times in my previous video for Noctis. So Squall and Noctis are both Dark Crystal users, so this is why this question is being asked. And we know Squall's awakening is coming somewhat soon. So comparing these two is hard because even though they're both damage dealers, they're very different with their mechanics. Squall's definitely more straightforward, so he is more beginner friendly. So if you're looking for a character that, hey, I'm just going to slap him on my team, I don't really have to worry about how his mechanics work, Squall is your guy. However, if you want something a little bit more fun but a little bit more advanced, I would recommend Noctis. So that's the difference between them. You can't really say one is better than the other because they both function differently, but it's just that one is more straightforward and beginner friendly, whereas the other one requires a little bit more understanding. What I will say though is that Squall doesn't need his EX to really shine, whereas Noctis absolutely does. So that's kind of the difference there between those two characters at level 60 with their EX. His banner. So Noctis's banner for his weapons is very risky to pull on because it also has Rem and Irvine. Rem being a pretty good support character, especially now that she's awakened in Global, but Irvine kind of being the subpar consolation prize. But just understand that this banner is a high risk, high reward, especially because when Noctis gets his level 70 awakening and rework in the future, he becomes even more of a beast. Right now, he's one of the best characters in the game, the JP version. So because of his level 70 awakening, he's an absolute monster. And remember, pulling all his weapons now upon his release will leave you set for this character, because when they bring back his weapons for his lost chapters, when we do get that level 70 awakening, there's nothing new on his banner unless, again, Square decides to change things on us. But assuming that they don't change things on us, if you pull on his banner now, you're going to be set. So when his banner comes out for his lost chapters, you don't have to worry about pulling for his weapons because you're already set for this very, very powerful character. All right, guys. Well, that is going to be it for this video. Noctis, good or not good? Is he good? Yes, he is going to be amazing. He's going to have a lot more longevity than you think. He just takes a little bit more understanding of the game's mechanics to really make him shine, but he is a great, amazing character that should last you a good while, especially with this early release. Once again, thank you to Dekrith, aka Red, for all your help. Don't forget to check out the links to his website in the video description as well as the pinned comments. And don't forget, I do have a giveaway that I'm also going to be leaving the links to on the video description as well as the pinned comments. Be sure to enter that giveaway that I'll be announcing the winner on Christmas Day, and also as well as the link to the chase mechanic video. That way you guys have a better understanding regarding that mechanic. All right, guys, I am 40 the Broadway saying, thank you for watching. Stay tuned for the next video, and mahal, everyone.